Okay, good, I started. Check out what I got lately. I got this last night after I ended. I don't know why I was on the pause menu or whatever. By the way, have you ever guys... What? Have you guys ever taken a close look at the Stardust item? Bam! Look at that! I got an Alpha Magnemite! Wow, that was loud! So I got an Alpha Magnemite literally last night after I ended. And then... I think this was last night also. Oh wait, no, this isn't the clip I'm thinking of. Yeah, I saved the clip because that happened, the glitch with Adamant. No, it was this clip I'm supposed to show you. Yeah, I never saw that glitch with Adamant. Is that common? As I was trying to say, have you guys ever taken a close look at the Stardust item icon? Boom, another shiny Eevee. It literally has star patterns on it. Anyway, so I am one Alpha away, and that being Magneton. I am one Alpha away from finishing my Alpha living dex. One Alpha remaining. And then when I get another Alpha Magnemite or Magneton, hopefully, fingers crossed, not another Alpha Magnezone, all I have left to do is to evolve some. Like Espeon, Leafeon, Glaceon, Weirdeer, Overquill. What else? Basculegion, and I think that might be it. So I am one away from completing my Alpha Dex. Just one! Oh crap, how's the audio? Oh, I think I forgot to disconnect that. You may have heard double audio for a moment there. Whoops. My bad. Yeah, let me turn that off. So, one Alpha away. Oh, I also wanted to show you guys how long it's taken. Because I got the Alpha Magnezone first. I got this last week. Oops, nope. A week! It took a week to get this. And I need one more. Anyway, so I have more things to show and tell, like Day 10 of Eternatus. Wow, that's a lot of distance walked for someone who wasn't even supposed to leave the house today. And that is true, today was my day off for the first time in over 2 weeks. And I was supposed to stay at home all day until my dad called me and told me he forgot some stuff at home. So I had to bring it to him. While I was out, I was about to do a route as well, but then I thought, nah, I don't want to. So that is day 10 of Eternatus. We are now into double digits. Also, before starting this, I got this! My second Hundo Scatterbug. Sadly, this Scatterbug is the Continental pattern. The pattern of a Hundo I already have. Now I have 2 Continental pattern Hundo Scatterbugs. It couldn't have been any other pattern. Any other pattern. Also today in Pokemon Go, starting today, is the Professor Willow birthday event thing, where starter Pokemon can have backgrounds. Kinda like, for example, boom, a background Cyndaquil. Now, at first I was thinking, okay, so fire types will get the Valor background, water types will get the Mystic, but then grass types will get the Instinct? Grass types will get the yellow one? And then I remembered, no, it's based on your team. Because, boom, Totodile, water type, Valor background, red background. So, me, I am Team Valor. I will only get Valor backgrounds. Because I was thinking it'd be kind of weird. The grass types will get the yellow background. I already asked a friend, yo, can you catch me a Mystic background Froakie and trade it to me? And while you're at it, I'll also take a Mystic background Rowlet too. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Of course, I'll trade you something with the red background. However, neither of us knows anyone IRL with Team Instinct. If anyone would like to trade me an Instinct background Rowlet, please hit me up. Preferably caught in a regular Pokeball, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get my hands on one of those. Worst case, I start another account on like my mom's phone, and I just catch it there and trade it to myself. We do have one more thing to show you, because today is my dad's birthday, and I saved this encounter to catch. Pay attention to the Diglett heads. Look, they're normal, and then, boom! Big brain! Did you see that? I think there's a visual bug in the game where, specifically, Alolan and Diglett, their heads are big brain. So Zeraora was special research from this past Go Fest for the 10th anniversary, which I forgot to mention that. I think it was July 16th was 10 years of Pokemon Go. Ugh. July 16th is kind of sandwiched in between two birthdays, I gotta remember. So I forgot to mention it when the date came. Anyway, so, Zeraora, let's see what we get. $14.47. Why do I don't think that's good? It's okay. It's okay. At least it's got 15 attack. So, it's okay. However, that's not the only thing for me to show you. But for the next thing, I need to switch apps. Give me just a moment. How's everyone doing? Y'all doing good? I finally watched a film to go over today. Can you believe? Like I said, I got to stay home today, so I finally had time to watch a film. One of the many films I'm behind on. So for the next while, as long as I have time to actually watch the damn movies, expect me to go over a lot of films, because we still have movies like Exit 8, Project Hail Mary, Obsession, Scary Movie 6, Supergirl. Lots of movies for me to go over. Plus, Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out in like 2 weeks. Oop. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of films to go over. As well as Dead City Season 3 and Lanterns are coming out soon. We also got promotional pictures for Clayface earlier today. The app is taking a while. Okay, let me see. Where do I go to... Ah, here it is. Okay, so, now take a look. Here in my Pokemon Home app, go to Mystery Gifts, Gift a Box, Claim. Again, I waited for a special day to claim this. I was gonna do it on Toby's birthday. But since I already caught Diancie on Toby's birthday, I figured, let's claim Shiny Volcanion. You can see just how long it's been since I finished this. May 13th. I held off on doing this for like 2.5 months. But there we go. Claimed today. On my dad's birthday. Okay, that is 10 minutes wasted. Let's actually get to hunting. But before I actually go over the film in question, being Ready or Not, here I come. So Ready or Not 2, I finally watched it. Remember what I said. I wanted to rewatch the first film again to refresh my memory, and that's exactly what I did today. Today, I rewatched the first film, and then watched the second film immediately after. I thought I would be able to stay home tomorrow too, so I planned to do the same thing, watch at least 2 movies. But nope, never mind, I'm working tomorrow, and Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday. So we'll have to see when the next time I have time to watch a film will be. So yeah, before I talk about the movie in question, there is one thing I would like to briefly go over. Oh crap, I need to make it daytime and then check again. So currently, there are these lawsuits towards Nintendo, and these have been going on for quite a while, actually. Alright, so this involves Nintendo's pricing. So remember a couple years ago, geez, it's been years ago. A couple years ago, when Nintendo raised the price of their games, their products, everything, remember when they said they would not be increasing the price of the Switch 2 console itself? And then not long after, they increased the price for the Switch 2 console itself. But at the time, you know, when tariffs were the hot topic, Nintendo said that they would not increase the price of the console, but instead they would raise the price of their products. So games, amiibos, what other accessories? They'll raise the price on everything else to, you know, counter the costs of tariffs. Well, there have been lawsuits that I think have been going on for like over a year now. So I think 2 fans of Nintendo filed lawsuits toward the company itself because I don't know all the details. Something the government said that Nintendo will be compensated the money that they would have had to spend towards the tariffs, towards the tariff charges. So Nintendo is borderline getting paid back all the money they would have lost because of the tariffs from the government or whatever. But wait a second, what about the fans who paid your increased prices to compensate the company for the tariffs? Right? Like, we, as consumers, paid more because the company needed to pay those tariff charges. So we paid more for the company to be able to compensate for the tariff charges, right? But then the company is getting refunded, rebated, compensated, whatever you want to say. They're getting their money back for all of the tariffs. So now they would not have had to pay anything, but yet we are paying the extra money to them. So the lawsuit kind of goes like, yo, that's not fair. That's kind of bullshit. Now we know that you guys overcharged us, and we would like our money back. What you should do is you should refund all your customers the amount that they paid extra. So for example, like me, as I showed you guys last time, the prices for games used to be $79.99. But now the prices for games is $99.99. The price went up so that Nintendo can compensate for the tariffs because of my money. I paid them. I gave them my money so that they can pay off the tariff charges or whatever. So the lawsuit kind of goes like, you guys should pay your consumers back the amount that they would have paid for your tariff charges. So someone like me, if I bought a $99.99 game, I should be refunded $20 per purchase. Because the price should have been $79.99, not $99.99. Yeah, pretty much. Nintendo said, nah, we're not doing that. Because they argue that legally, they have no reason to. You know, there was nothing in the contract, the purchase contract, the receipts you were given. There's nothing saying, hey, if the tariffs ever go away, we'll give you back the money difference. They're making the argument that, look, the price we put up, you made that purchase. You decided that price was okay for you to pay, and you did the purchase. So we owe you nothing. You are not owed a refund. You are not entitled to a refund. Not even a full refund. You know, you are not entitled to the amount you paid extra to be returned to you. Right? So that's what the lawsuit is saying. You should compensate everyone for the amount that they paid extra. But Nintendo said, nah. So they're double dipping. Think about it, they're double dipping. We as consumers are paying the extra tariff cost, but yet they're getting back all the money that they would have paid off for the tariff. So they're double dipping. We pay them extra, and they get the money back that extra amount would have gone to. And the thing is, I think they also openly said prices are not going to go back down. Now that the tariffs are over, if that's even the case, I don't completely know, but now that the tariffs are over, if that is the case, the prices aren't going to go down. They're not going to go back to the prices you once knew. They're staying like this, bitch. So, even if tariffs are gone, even if there's no reasons for the cost to be this high, they're not going to go back down. The days of $80 games, Canadian, is over. A $100 game is now the new norm, even though there's no reason for it to be the norm. You gotta love these small indie companies. Am I right? Now, I understand both sides. Oh, I understand the consumer side more, obviously. But if you think about it, Nintendo's not wrong. They kind of don't legally owe any of us compensation. They could, to get some, goodwill from the people, but they're not going to. So they're double dipping, they're keeping all the money, and there's nothing we can do about it. And how exactly would they go about refunding that portion, compensating everyone? Right? Because Nintendo has millions, maybe billions of fans, billions of consumers who purchase their endless supply of products. And I highly doubt every person kept every single receipt to show as proof, hey, I purchased this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this. Now that the prices should be back to normal, can I get the portion back? Right? It would be an enormous nightmare to actually compensate everyone back. Even with receipts, even with the proof that you actually made the purchase, even if you have proof of the receipts to show that you actually made the purchase, going through billions of receipts to prove each one is authentic? That's just not possible. Even with, dare I say, AI programs, automated bots, that's still not possible. And obviously, some dirty fiend can trick Nintendo like, oh yeah, I totally purchased so many of your products. Please, sir, can I get a refund? A portion? Yeah, I totally bought them, trust. Yeah, I bought like 100 games, believe me. So, I can understand Nintendo's side, but in no way am I defending Nintendo, okay? I'm sure this billion-dollar company could figure out some way to compensate everyone. Like, honestly. If not compensate, you could at least lower the prices back to what they were. But they're not going to do that. And believe me, I definitely understand the consumer side of the argument. Even if it actually does not affect me. Well, at least not on the gaming side, like... Ugh. It'll affect me Amiibos purchases wise. But in terms of all the games itself, don't forget, when I purchased my Switch 2, I bought it for $100 less. And then, I mentioned last time, the two games. I purchased Zelda for $20 less, I purchased Sonic for $30 less. So it actually doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to me at this moment. When I buy a game in the future at full price, then it'll apply to me. Yo, there's also rumors. Let's move away from the negativity. There's also rumors going around right now that we could get more consoles added to Nintendo Switch Online. We have GameCube. Coming up next could be the DS. So, DS Pokemon games, maybe? And not even Pokemon games. You know how many games were on the DS? How many legendary games? Mario Kart DS was my first Mario Kart game. I played that so much. Sure, the graphics looks absolutely terrible these days, but you have to keep in mind, that game came out over 20 years ago. I think it was over 20 years ago. What year did that game come out in? Did it come out in 2004 or 2007? Or literally any other time between that? Man, the gaming industry is just on fire right now, just like the way Canada's on fire. Sony is getting flamed in all directions. Certain governments are actually stepping up to stick at the Sony, would you believe? I forget exactly which government it was. Maybe it was the Mexican government. I think it was. The Mexican government is actually stepping in and siding with gamers like, yeah, they cannot be allowed to go through with this monopoly, and the exact same arguments everyone else has been having. They would borderline kill certain retail stores, and also the fact that there would be no competition. You know, Sony can then do whatever price they choose, and nobody can do anything about it. They can't go to Amazon or any other alternatives. You can only purchase it from them. The Mexican government is actually stepping in. And it's beautiful to see. I'll be honest, even with the aid of the government, I kinda doubt Sony will backtrack. Especially because, like I already mentioned, they already told their told their factory that manufactures the game discs and cases, alright, shut it down. We are shifting this company's, oh my god, shifting this factory's purpose to, like, lenses? Like, VR headset lenses or whatever? I don't remember, something like that. Like, they already gave fair warning to the factory. Alright, by 2028, we are changing this factory's purpose. Oh, wait, I forgot to bring the balls. Anyways, you guys remember a couple months ago? When when it was my sister's birthday and we went to that buffet. Well, today for my dad's birthday, we went to the exact same buffet. Because if it's like within the week of someone's birthday, one person gets to eat for free as long as you have at least 5 people dining. And you'd best believe, if I'm going to a buffet, I am absolutely fat maxing. I will be calorie maxing, profit maxing, well, value maxing, I should say. Remember how last time I mentioned this buffet, they had these coupons for lamb chops? Well, exact same thing. I tried my best to use up all the coupons, but like, oof, just too full. My friend said, you should be shellfish maxing. And I said, I was Peking ducks maxing. Because, you know, that's the highlight of this buffet, the Peking duck. All you can eat Peking duck. You know how expensive Peking duck is? Because you know how long of a process it is to make Peking duck? But I think my family is starting to get tired of this buffet. We go to it over and over, and, you know, it's just the same food over and over again. It can't just be me, right? Whenever you go to a buffet for the first time, like a new one you've never been to, it seems like the place is giant. There's so much food to choose from. But then you go again, and it's like, wow, it's not as big as I remember. There's less options than I remember. First time coming here, I remember there was so much. And now it's like, damn, why is there so little options? Give me just a moment. Oh. Man, I am so full. I am so bloated. You know, at the buffet, I tried to maximize the amount I consumed. Oh, It was one of those where it was like you were so stuffed you're on the verge of throwing up. Oh, okay, so let's go over the film, shall we? Finally, something to talk about once again! So, this movie came out a couple months ago. I wanted to watch it in theaters, but I just never got the chance to. And, well, my life has been so busy that I just never got a chance to actually watch it until today. So, the movie is Ready or Not, Here I Come. The sequel to the first film that came out like 7 years ago. Even though I didn't watch it when it first came out. I only watched the first film like last year. However, I did want to rewatch the first film just to refresh my memory. And I'm glad I did. Because I've completely forgot the whole Mr. LaBelle storyline from the first film. I don't remember what I was doing when I went over the first film. How long ago it's been, I don't remember. But I did cover the first film at some point on the channel. It's somewhere there. So, Ready or Not 2. Can I just, hold on, let me just put my controller down for a sec so I can... This was a good film. I liked it. It was a good movie. It was a good sequel. It was enjoyable to watch. It also helps the fact that the two co-leads are incredibly hot. Also helped the viewing experience. Because this film not only stars Samara Weaving returning to reprise her role, but also Katherine Newton, who we all just saw is going to be reprising her role as Cassie Lang in the Avengers Doomsday trailer. She was also in Detective Pikachu, of which I am still waiting for that sequel. That sequel being stuck in development hell. So, Ready or Not, Here I Come. Ready or Not 2. Couple of notable actors that I recognize from this film. You have Kevin Durand. Recognize him from a couple projects. You have Sarah Michelle Gellar, you know, the original Daphne. Well, actually, there's been a lot of Daphnes. I don't know if you would call her the original. But she was the James Gunn version of Daphne, you know, the sexy version. You also have, my god, I'm gonna butcher her last name, Maya J. Bastidas. We just saw her, well, not just, we saw her in Gen V. I knew I recognized her. I knew she looked familiar. And I looked it up. That's right. I saw her in Gen V. And I think that's also Elijah Wood. But I think that's it in terms of the recognizable faces that, well, I recognized from this film. Okay, so this film takes place immediately after the first film, despite coming out 7 years after the first film. So the end of the first film, we have our main character, Grace, leaving the, Ladomas, I forget what the name of the family was, leaving the mansion as it was burning down and everyone inside was already dead. And I think they actually reshot the end of the first movie as the beginning of this movie. Because I don't know if when they filmed the first movie, it was planned to have a sequel. I kind of doubt it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken 7 years to produce a sequel. Albeit there was a pandemic that happened in between the films. But I don't think it was the original plan to actually have a sequel to this film. Or to the first film. So I think they actually reshot the entire opening or reshot the entire ending of the film as the opening for this film. Because, like I said, I just rewatched the first film. Maybe I'm crazy, but to me it kind of looked like the two versions of the ending had slight differences. Or maybe I just need to see them side by side and realize, no, they're the exact same shot. Okay, so we see Grace coming out of the burning building, smoking a cigarette, saying, what happened to her, the in-laws. But then she passes out, goes into cardiac arrest, and kind of dies until paramedics revive her. We then see her in a hospital where a detective is trying to get answers from her, like, hey, what happened? After the fire was put out, we found the bodies of several people burnt, killed, and you, as you left, you were drenched in blood. The blood was not yours, however, so you are the main suspect of murder and arson. But Grace, how the hell is she supposed to tell the law enforcement that, well, I married a man and his entire family turned out to be Satan worshippers and they all tried to hunt me down and kill me for this ritual. And then the house burned down because they failed to kill me, so then this ghost figure named LaBelle, Mr. LaBelle, exploded them all, and then the house started to burn down. Like, how do you explain that, right? But then, Grace's sister shows up, played by Catherine Newton. Grace's sister, Faith, shows up because she is her emergency contact. We learn later in the film that they haven't spoken in like 7 years. They had a falling out. We learn the details of why later. So when Faith goes to see her sister, the tension is high. The two of them are not on friendly terms. Grace tries to tell Faith what exactly happened to her. And it's exactly what I just said. She tries to tell her that, these Satan worshippers, they tried to kill me, but because they failed to, by dawn, they literally all bursted, like they all popped, like the human meat balloons that they are. And then there was this guy sitting in a chair. He was also see-through, and then the house burned down. Yeah, she was right. Her sister doesn't believe her. Even her sister's like, yeah, you're going to jail. We also see the rest of the, this grander world. That there is a high society. There is an entire society of these Satan worshippers. We get this old guy who has so much influence, he's watching the news live, and he calls someone to say, like, tell them to stand down, and then they stand down immediately on the news. Elijah Woods' character shows up. We don't actually get his name, he's just like the lawyer or whatever. So I guess I'll just refer to him as the lawyer. He tells this old guy that, like, the family, the Ladamas or whatever from the first film, they're no more. Now there are 2 elite families that are gone. It is now hunting season, y'all! So, we see families and people, the elites from all over the world, receive the message that it's borderline hunting season. Like, game on. So yeah, we see people from all over the world receive the good news. Oh yeah! And then they gather. And then we also meet the antagonist of the film, a twin set. We meet Titus and Ursula. we meet these twins. And they kill their father. They smother their father. Even though, like, they didn't do it out of spite. In fact, they did it because they were raised to do it, I guess. The old man even is like, just get it over with. Take this pillow and just get it over with. He also tells his twin children that whoever wears this ring, has ultimate power. You must ensure that it is you, my children. The two of you. One of you must wear this ring. So anyways, the kids, they smother their father. And we learn why later. Anyway, so at the hospital, Grace is getting wheelchaired out because the detective is also taking her to the station for further questioning. She's in a wheelchair, she's in a hospital gown, she's told that she's going to get fresh, clean clothes. That is until a throwing knife enters the detective's neck, killing him, and it is Kevin Durand's character. I don't even think we got a name for this guy. Maybe we did, but it's not important. So Kevin Durand's character attacks the hospital looking for Grace, looking to kill her, because he kind of goes, screw the rules. I don't need to wait until the game starts before I start hunting her for the grand prize. I'm just going to do it now. So Kevin Durand's character just terrorizes the hospital, looking for Grace. And sadly, her sister is also here as collateral damage. She's a part of this now. After some, sneaking around, avoiding the big man, Grace does manage to go to the dead detective's body, take his gun, and also, like, the key to her handcuffs. She's handcuffed a lot in this film. She manages to take the gun, but fails to use it. Well, she does fire it, but Kevin Durand's character is quick. So as Kevin Durand's character is about to kill Grace, he explodes. He literally just pops. Because he broke the rules. The game hasn't started yet. So he literally just bursts, as if Mr. Marathon ran right through him. And now Faith saw it firsthand, so she knows, yeah, this is real. There are Satan worshippers, and if they do something wrong, they actually just pop on the spot. And then I find this kind of wild. The fact that Grace, she was promised clean clothes, but they haven't gotten to that point yet, right? So instead of wearing her now bloodied hospital gown, she decides to change back into her blood-soaked wedding gown from the first film? Because that's the only clothing option she has. Like, I don't know if that's much better. Like, she decides to change back into the outfit from the first film. Okay. So she and her sister are about to leave, but then Elijah Woods' character, the lawyer, shows up, tear gases the hallway. And I'm thinking, you two couldn't think quick to hold your breath and run away the other direction? No, don't do that. Just stand there and inhale, knowing damn well that tear gas was just thrown. So now the lawyer has Grace and her sister, a sister that the society didn't even know about. Okay, back to them later. We see this random couple. literally at the altar getting married. But then the twins, Ursula and Titus, they interrupt the vows and say, sorry folks, you need to evacuate the building. There's been a gas leak. There ain't no gas leak, they just need the building to play their game. And they don't care if someone's having their wedding ceremony right this moment. We begin to see just how unhinged Titus is as he's like impatient, as he's kind of tweaky. He's kind of jumpy about why aren't these people getting the fuck out? And more throughout the film, we just see Titus be more and more unhinged. Alright, the hotel has been evacuated. The hotel with a big golf course, by the way. And now the elites are showing up. And they welcome them. People from all over the world who are also, whose families are also Satan worshippers. We get this, Asian woman. And she brought her son with her. And what the fuck? This dude looks older than me. This dude looks like he's in his early 30s, maybe? And yet he walked out of the car playing a Nintendo Switch 2. Or it might have been a Steam Deck. We didn't really get a close look at it, but he was gaming. I think it was a Switch 2. I don't know, actually. It might be a Steam Deck, it might be a Switch 2. It's kind of hard to tell. But the dude just shows up actually gaming. Whatever. So we have these, I don't know what language they are. Maybe they're Spanish? I don't know. Hispanic? I am so sorry, I don't know. We get this Asian family, we get this Indian family. I can't believe I'm saying this. Take notes, Hollywood. This is how you do a diverse cast in a movie. Alright, so they have captured Grace and Faith. Wow, what two names, huh? Grace and Faith. So they capture them, and now they are discussing pretty much everything that's happening. Why everything is happening. It pretty much goes like there used to be 6 elite families in this high society, and now 2 are gone. And because of this, the high seat, pretty much like the top seat, is vacant. Meaning, it is out in the open. Anyone can go for it. That is where you, Grace, come in. The game will be played again. Think of it as double or nothing. The people here will hunt you to death again, and if you survive until dawn, the seat will be yours. However, whoever kills you first, they will get the seat. And ultimate power. And they make it sound like whoever has the seat controls everything, like the entire world. Like it's kind of this secret organization that governs the entire world, because we also learn later in the film that they even control the police. So you can only imagine whoever holds the top seat has a ton of power at the expense of Satan. They also explain in the film, you have a sister we never knew about. When you married Alex in the first film, you told everyone that you had no family. But yet, here's a sister. It turns out, like I said earlier, they had a falling out. They haven't spoken in 7 years. Yeah, that's why. Anyway, so the ring comes back up again. The ring of the old guy, who the twins killed earlier. Whoever wins gets the high seat and the ring. The ring is a symbol of ultimate power. I'm trying to think what else happened. So we also learn why the twins killed their father. More like why the father voluntarily sacrificed himself. So each family has a head of the family. Someone who is the top of the family. And the power, like the seat, used to belong to him, I think. Until the other family died. So now the seat is vacant. I suppose if too many families die, then the seat has to be forfeit. I don't remember all the details. Ugh. But yeah, because he's too old, he wants the power to remain in his family. So if he were to die, then his twin children are the ones to participate. And because they are twins, they both get to participate, meaning they have double the chances of killing Grace, double the chances of winning. So they're cheating. They killed their own father to cheat, having double the manpower, the hunting manpower. But yet Mr. LaBelle does not care. The lawyer does explain, however, that if nothing were to happen, if by the time of it being dawn and no one wears the ring, Mr. LaBelle will be very angry. Mr. LaBelle also prohibits the participants, the hunters, from killing each other, even by accident. So if you accidentally kill another hunter, there will be punishment. Basically, your entire bloodline gets exterminated. So Grace gets a moment to speak. It's like, do you have any questions? Yeah. Can I have a cigarette? I thought this gag would show back up later, but no, it didn't. Grace screams, I am not participating. So they threaten Grace. Wait, what? They threaten Faith. If she doesn't participate, they'll just kill Faith. So yes, she has to participate. And Faith is in this too now. Okay, so both of them are drugged to be knocked out, and then they're going to be placed in the golf course before the game begins. Everyone needs to sign in the, some sort of, like, I don't know, reverse Bible. They need to sign with their blood before the game actually starts. So the rules are, each family has the top. The top of the family, the top family member will be the hunter. And if, for whatever reason, the hunter is killed, then their next of kin will be will join. Oh my god. If the hunter for some reason dies, then their next of kin will replace them as hunter on the field. And everyone else, who I guess is kind of on standby, will be able to watch from afar at the moment. Oh yeah, also, what was her character's name again? Francisca. She has a personal grudge against Grace because she was Alex's original fiance until he left her for Grace. So she has a personal vendetta against Grace. Forgot to mention that. So, everyone in the field is ready for the game to start, which, by the way, is absolute bullshit on Grace's end, too. Because last film, it started at, midnight and lasted until dawn? This film, he said began specifically at 2:31 p.m. and she has to survive until dawn. So like I said, that's way worse. That's more than double the time to survive. Okay, so all the murderers are lined up with their expensive designer brand sunglasses. And as the timer begins, they all run to the golf carts to go and murder. However, the twins, they sabotage the rest of the golf carts by forgetting to put the keys. Damn, they are cheating to high hell. So the twins get a head start. However, the Asian lady, she brought a drone. She brought a drone. She flies the drone to where Faith and Grace are, which, by the way, they argue back and forth because they have differing opinions on what they should do to survive. So the drone finds them, but then the Asian lady tries to talk to them. Tries to talk to them like, look, I can help you. There's a loophole to keep you safe and alive. But before she can explain the loophole, well, the drone gets shot down. So Grace and Faith, they need to run into the woods, where there are no cameras for them to be spotted. Because, oh yeah, the people are watching. This is kind of just a different version of the Hunger Games. So, Grace and Faith are in the woods. They have a moment to talk. They talk about their lives. How Faith, she is like a social media manager now or whatever, and she also has an ultra hot, ultra rich boyfriend named Derek. Spoiler alert, she made all that up. She's like a hostess in reality. I find it pretty funny that both actresses, they look nothing alike. They're supposed to be sisters, yet they look nothing alike. Both are so hot, though. Anyway, so they see Ursula in the distance. As she's approaching, not knowing where they are, she explains, like, look, I get it. You think we're the bad guys and that none of this is fair. But you have to understand, there are no good guys or bad guys. We just have to do what we gotta do. But in reality, she was just distracting them so that Titus can sneak up behind them. Only he fails his surprise attack. Quick squabble, and they get away. I also question in this particular scene, what took Ursula so long? Because, well, when Faith and Grace, they were hiding, they were able to see Ursula pretty close by. She wasn't that far at all. And when Titus failed his sneak attack, and then he was on top of Grace trying to choke her and kill her, where was Ursula? She absolutely could have ran over and shot Grace. It's like, what took you so long? You didn't show up until after they ran away and escaped. Oh, whatever. So, yeah. Also, this is some crazy plot armor these girls have. Okay, so Faith and Grace, they make it back out of the woods. So now they're out in the open. Whoops. Now they're out in the open. They want to go back to the hotel and see if there's a phone to call for help. And while they're arguing on what to do, standing literally out in the open, the Spanish dude, I think, the Hispanic guy, I forget what language he speaks, I'm so sorry. This guy with a sniper rifle takes perfect aim. He's about to pull the trigger, but then the magazine falls out of the gun. It's like, what? And then as he's reloading, he accidentally fires a shot, alerting gunshots to everyone. So he just tries his best to shoot through the scope. Shoots at them, and he misses every round. It's like, come on, man. You had every opportunity. You fucked it all up. The magazine fell out. You accidentally shot, giving away your location, and then you miss every single shot. It's like, come on, man. You could have ended this movie right there. But, come on, man. This is some clumsy shit. Alright, so Faith and Grace, they run to this, like, outdoor tent area for shelter. And it seems like this is like a patio. This is like an outdoor patio with a grill, a barbecue, whatever. Because Faith, she has a plan. She's going to use the wood chips and the smoker to create a bunch of smoke to hide their location, so that the sniper can't find them. But then the Indian dude wearing the Vega mask with the machete, he shows up trying to kill them. So Grace and Faith, they run out just in time, because the sniper guy, he shoots the propane tank, exploding the area. The girls get away, but the dude in the mask, he gets caught in the blast. And remember, no killing other hunters, even if by accident. So he's just like, oh shit. No, please be alive. Because if I die, my children die too. But don't worry, the dude is fine. But the explosion did send a bunch of shrapnel lodged into Grace's arm, so they have to deal with that as well. So the girls, they run into the hotel, where the shrapnel gets pulled out of Grace's arm. They even use liquor to cauterize the wound. And, you know, they had all this time to do this. They had lots of time to actually do this and even talk, have a full conversation. When they really should be worried about hiding. Oh, but don't worry, the dude, the guy, the Indian guy with the mask and the blade, he comes in right as their conversation ends. Didn't come in a moment earlier to rudely interrupt their conversation. So he chases them down into the, like the underground, the basement portion of the hotel. You know, where they have a bunch of tools and storage and whatnot. So they go down to the basement area where they use this, they go into this closet where they have this sander object, the sander tool to cut the handcuffs off of them. And that's not how that thing works. Unless that's a different tool than I'm familiar with. Oh boy. Get off my screen. Unless that's a different tool than what I'm familiar with, because I use tools like that. Or I'm around tools like that all the time. I don't use it myself. But it causes a lot of noise. You know, they're cutting apart the handcuffs that has them together. So of course it causes lots of noises. And this Indian guy, he just takes a sweet time? He takes a sweet time, like he very slowly walks up to where the noise is instead of, you know, dashing over. And the moment he gets to that closet with the tool, the girls are gone, but the tool begins to power down because it's turned off. And I'm thinking, yeah, no. No. Either by the time he ran over there, the tool would have been completely shut off, or they had to have turned it off immediately and ran out. So he should have seen them run out. Tools like that do not take that long to power down after being turned off. Ugh. So now the girls go on offense. They try to fight him. They do get some good hits in with the tools and the surroundings that they have. And well, this is some horrific shit that happened, I tell you. Because they managed to get the upper hand on this guy. And how do they finish him? They actually shove him into a giant industrial grade washing machine. You know, I actually didn't know this. You know how hotels, they have hundreds of bed sheets, hundreds of towels, hundreds of everything to clean? They don't have just an army of washing machines in the basement. No, they have ginormous industrial grade washing machines. Like, enormous. You can probably fit a dozen people in there. I didn't know this. So they actually pushed the guy into a gigantic washing machine. They lock him in and they turn it on. And when they turn it on, they don't turn on simply wash. They turn on the sanitize option, which might imply that the water is boiling hot. This is a boogeyman type of death right here. So they locked a man inside a gigantic washing machine, and then they turned on the boiling water setting. That is horrific. And you hear him screaming in pain. You see him spinning around inside. It's horrifying. And the reason I believe when she turned on the sanitize option, it was boiling hot water, it's because when he fell out, his body had, like, burn boils all over. Like, damn. That is a pretty horrific way to die. They let him out off chance he has a phone on his body he could use to, or they could use to call someone. Alright, so the Indian guy is now dead. That means his next of kin, the next oldest person in the family, will be the hunter, being his brother. But his brother is a bit of a coward. He doesn't want to go, so he's just like, what about my wife? If I relinquish my top position in the family and give it to my wife, she would go out into the field and do the murdering, right? Or she could get killed herself, right? Yes, technically. Okay, bet I'll do that. And ooh, not even just his wife, any spouse, husband or wife would be furious. So he has to sign it off, even with blood. Signs off his top position in the family, so now his wife is top position of the family. That also means that she has all the power. She has all the money, all the assets, everything. He now owns nothing. Good job, idiot. You could have just gone into the field and just not participated, right? You could have just not hunted. You would still, quote-unquote, participate, but you wouldn't be at risk of dying. You could literally just sit in the corner and wait it out. Dumbass. Anyway, so the girls use the phone to call 911. Only it's the twins who pick up, because they have control of the police. And they also tricked out the surrounding hotlines just in case they get their hands on a phone and call for help. So any calls for help would actually just redirect to Ursula's phone. So they're told to go to the front gate to meet up with them, even though it's an ambush. So they do that, believing it's 911. So as they go, the Asian woman shows up. And she comes in peace. She tells them, look, I'm not trying to kill you, okay? She even puts down her sword as proof she's not trying to kill them. She tries to warn them, or tries to tell them, tries to inform them. I had my lawyer scan the contracts, scan the paper, and there's a loophole. The loophole is, if you marry into one of the top families... Sweet. Alright, the loophole is, if you marry into one of the top families, then the husband will get the top seat. The family will get all the power, and you get to live. That's the loophole. Sounds simple enough, right? You marry into someone you may or may not know or like, and you don't even have to live with the person. You're legally married, you're spiritually and ritually married, but you don't even have to live together, you don't even have to be associated anymore. But, of course there's a catch. Marry into this family, into this life, into these Satan-worshipping families. There is a catch. You still have to fulfill the duties that people do. You know, stuff like sacrificing goats and killing innocent people who unknowingly marry into these Satan-worshipping people. So Grace does not want to sell her soul. However, she doesn't get a chance to really think it over. Because a dude with a sniper comes in. The Asian lady is actually blocking Grace, but she's just like, say yes! Say yes, you will do it! Or else I will kill you right here and now. And, well... Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. It's pretty interesting that the lady with the gamer's son is asking the really hot lady, like, hey, I found a loophole. If you were to, let's say, marry my son, you would get to be alive. My son would take the top position. It's a win-win. It's almost like the mother knew that her fat gaming son is a loser who would have no chance of finding a woman himself. Gee, where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, I see it every day when I look in the mirror. Anyway, so the dude with the sniper, he doesn't get a clear shot of Grace because the Asian lady's blocking her. So, instead, he runs up, like he just approaches. So, time is running out. So what Grace does is she manages to turn the lady around with the aid of faith. She gets turned around, and then her sword gets redirected into the dude's neck. So the guy dies. Remember, no killing other hunters, even by accident. So the rule has been broken. So the Asian lady gets punished. The Asian lady, she just pops, and so does her son. Poor guy, too. He was gaming like 20 minutes ago, and he's just eating food, and he's just like, why is everyone looking at me? And pops. So that's another family eliminated. Okay, so now it's time to go. Faith picks up the lazy sword to use as a weapon. Smart. Good choice. Grace did try to pick up the sniper, but no more bullets, so no point in taking it. I don't know, would have been a good intimidation weapon, right? So they leave, but not before they wipe the blood off their face. And it's like, wow, they wiped it off great. There's no stains at all on their face. It's almost like they went to the bathroom and washed their face. Anyways, well, filmmakers know what to do, because her jacket is covered in blood, Faith takes off her jacket, and for the rest of the movie, she's just in a tank top. Albeit the tank top's covered in blood, but like, damn, Catherine Newton's hot. So is Samara Weaving. They're both hot. What a fantastic film to watch. So now they have a little bit more downtime. They talk about their past and why they had a falling out. So both of them had foster families. Grace, she had a once-in-a-lifetime scholarship. So she left to go to school for like 3 years. Once she graduated, she was going to come back and get her sister so that they can live together and she can provide. However, Faith wanted her sister to take her with her, but she couldn't. She was 18 at the time, and Faith was 15. She couldn't take care of her. She couldn't take care of her sister. She could barely take care of herself. So she left her sister behind. Grace tries to defend what she did, like she really thought she was going to actually do something and then be able to provide for herself and her sister. But Faith sees it as, you abandoned me. Grace did try to call. Grace did try to reach back out to her sister, but Faith didn't answer because she was mad. She didn't want to speak to her sister anymore. She did even try to invite her to the wedding. Anyway, so the twins, they get a call again, and it's, well, this time Titus picks up because, well, can't have the same operator pick up twice. What are the chances of that happening? So Titus picks up, and Grace is just like, hey, we're at the gate. Where are you? Where are the police cars? Oh, they're around. Just walk out to the open, and the police will be able to see you. So then the twins get ambushed because they knew it was a trap. They knew it was a trap because they're just like, Ursula, we knew it was your voice on the other side of the phone, dumbass. So instead of killing them, they need them. They need information on how to get out of here. They need to be able to disarm the security and open the gates and whatnot. So they stall. They stall until the Indian dude's wife pulls up in a car, seemingly is going to run them over, but instead she just breaks through the gate and drives off. Because she now has power. Fuck her husband. Fuck this game. She now has power. She now has money, wealth, power. She don't need her husband no more. He has nothing. He signed it all to her. So the front gate is now open, and they do get into a fight. Grace and Faith do fight Ursula and Titus. And of course, because our characters, they do get the upper hand. But not before Ursula stabs a ginormous pike clean through Grace. Instead of stabbing her in the neck, she just stabs her through the shoulder for some reason. Okay. You could have won right there. But I suppose the rule is you need to use specific weapons to kill. Wow, that's very convenient. Anyways. So Grace is impaled. And their plan is to grab a golf cart and go back to the hotel. Wait, what? Wait a second. The gate is opened. The lady drove a car and completely rammed through the gate. You can run. You can run through the gate. You can run and run and run. Like, why did you not just leave at this moment? And also, me personally, I would have stomped in the heads of the twins to make sure they don't follow. So, yeah. The girls, they make it back to the hotel. But the twins, we see more and more of how unhinged Titus is. He does not like when his sister slaps sense into him and seemingly controls him. Anyways, because the dude with the sniper gun is dead, the next in line will go into the field and start hunting. That being Francisca. She changes into her wedding gown and begins hunting. She also has a briefcase with a weapon inside. Okay, so they make it into the dining hall of the people who were to be married before they got kicked out. Grace yanks out the giant pike herself. Oof, the willpower. So Grace, she looks around people's purses and bags to see if there's any sort of medication she can take for the time being. She finds the bottle of pepper spray, and she also finds, like, Tylenol. And for some reason, Grace is mad at Faith. Like, really mad. She yells at her sister for not leaving. She screamed at Faith to leave now that she has a chance. But Faith decided to stay and ended up saving her sister's life. And for some reason, she's mad? Like, genuinely mad. Yells at her sister, says some hurtful things. This causes Faith to walk away. But before Grace is able to chase after her sister, well, Francisca shows up with a bazooka, with an RPG. She is about to just completely blow up Grace, but she held the weapon backwards. Fucking idiot. You held it backwards! The rocket fired behind you, idiot! Anyway, so because of this, because her weapon of choice didn't work out, dumbass, she runs up to Grace, screaming like a banshee, until Grace picks up the pepper spray and sprays Francisca in the eyes. But then Francisca, with her eyes burning, she manages to turn the bottle around and also spray Grace in the eyes, somehow. So, Faith, angrily walking away, decides that she is going to go back and help her sister. So as she runs back, she actually gets clotheslined. I almost said T-boned. She gets clotheslined by Titus, and he beats her. Like, he really beats her. Beats the snot out of her. So then we have this two-way fight, where Grace fights Francisca with blurry vision, and Titus fights Faith. There's this pretty funny scene where, because two of them are borderline blinded, they're swinging blindly, not even close to where the other person is. Their fight eventually, like, manages to turn on the DJ booth, the disco ball. So now they're dancing to music. I forget the name of the song. Both antagonists almost get the upper hand, but then, of course, our characters get the upper hand. Let's see. Grace does manage to knock out Francisca, because of course she does. But Titus, he just beats and beats and beats Faith. Like, he literally beats her almost to the brink of death. Well, not yet. Like, he was really about to beat her to death, like he planned to. But then Ursula shows up like, don't. We can use her. Alright, so yeah, Grace, she is about to leave. Like, she goes to the gate thinking that her sister would be there, but no. Instead, over the PA system, Titus announces to everyone, or announces to everywhere, knowing that Grace will hear it, that he has her sister. So now, Grace has to go back. And then she manages to arm herself rather easily. So, you know, at the front gate, there are these little houses, these little buildings, where the security will be. So she notices that there is this little box that says, keep locked. Loaded firearms inside. So she opens it, pulls out a shotgun. It's like, wow, she armed herself rather easily. How convenient that there was a shotgun with a bunch of slugs right there. Alright, so she goes back to the hotel, where Francisca runs out screaming, "Round two, bitch!" And then she just gets popped. No hesitation, just pops her. One to the gut, one to the head. Now that Francisca has been eliminated, well, it's her little brother's turn. It's actually pretty funny that no hesitation, she just offs Francisca on the spot. And she was so set for round two as well. Seeing that she's loaded, she just walks up and is just like, "Round two, biatch." But yeah, she just drops her on the spot, no hesitation. So yeah, it's a little boy's turn. So Grace runs in, guns blazing, threatening everyone. You know, everyone who's in attendance watching. But none of them know where Faith is, because they're just bystanders. They're just observers. At least until the little boy comes in with like two Uzis and just sprays at Grace's direction. So she runs, dodging all bullets. It's like, damn, not a single shot even grazed her. So she runs off. She locks herself in the freezer for some reason as a hiding spot. At least until Titus shows up, threatening Faith. He gives her 3 seconds to come out. 3, 2, 1. Alright, time to die. But Grace actually thinks on the spot. She's just like, wait. Okay, I'll come out. On one condition. If you marry me. That Asian lady told me of a loophole. If we get married, you get the top spot, and we get to live. The lawyer actually nods like, yeah, that is true. She could do that. Ugh. So Titus accepts the proposal. It's a win-win. Titus gets top position, gets all the power, and the girls get to live. Like, it's a win-win. Only Grace has to sell her soul and do those horrific acts. Alright, so the marriage is agreed. Grace gets cleaned up to be ready for the ceremony. The satanic marriage ceremony. And I'm thinking, god damn, she looked good. Cleaning her up, getting her out of that bloody gown and wiping all the blood off her face. She looked good. Not gonna lie, she looked good. And what's amazing is, she only has one cut on her face. One cut. All the injuries she sustained. And visually, after cleaning up, she only has one cut on her face. Don't forget, she was shot through the hand in the first film. She was literally just impaled in this film. So anyways, Ursula comes in, trying to comfort her new sister-in-law. And she kind of just tells Faith, like, listen, Titus is crazy. I tried looking for the good in my brother, but I found nothing. My brother is a crazy, crazy person. You have to keep him under control. We can do it together. You and I both. But it turns out Titus was standing right there, listening in, and he feels like his sister has betrayed him. So he chokes out his own twin sister, whispering into her ear, "It's not against the rules to kill family members." So he snaps her neck. He kills his own twin sister. Now he will have no power to share. He will have all the power. And also Titus walks in looking like Bruce Wayne. Call me crazy. He actually walks in looking like Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. I swear to God, he even wears the same outfit too, it looks like. Anyway, so he killed his sister. It's time for the wedding ceremony. Grace wears this black gown. Not gonna lie, kinda sexy. She gets taken into this, like, dark basement lit up by only fire and candles, because of course it is, where a bunch of cult members in the typical gowns and hoods, you know, they're all standing there watching the ceremony play out. There's also a big hole in the middle of the floor that opens up. Alright, so it is time for the... You know, usually marriages are a formation by God, but no, this time it's a formation by Satan. It's a satanic marriage. Oh yeah, Grace also very smartly does this. She's just like, I need some assurance from you. I need some reassurance from you before I marry you. Swear that you will do us no harm. Not swear to me! Swear to Mr. LaBelle. And he actually does. I swear to Mr. LaBelle that no harm shall come to you or your sister. Wow! Very smart, girl. Okay, so the marriage ceremony is a go. Both of them need to cut their hands so that the blood will mix. And then with the blood, the mixed blood, they use a pen dipped into the blood to sign into like this demonic Bible that, yes, written in blood, that this marriage is actually, you know, forever. In this life and the next, to the flames of hell. And so they actually do get married. You know, she has this depressed look on her face as she says, I do. I mean, can you blame her? So when it came time to kiss the bride, Titus, he just goes in for it. He just smacks her on the lips like tenfold. Anyways, after he kissed the bride, it is official. They are married. And it is time to sacrifice the goat. They are about to slit the goat's throat and then toss it into the big hole in the middle of the floor. But then... Ooh, very clever. Very clever. Just before the goat's throat is slit, Grace grabs the pen and stabs Titus in the neck. And then just repeatedly stabs him over and over and over. How is she able to do this? You know, she's literally now bound by marriage, literally under Satan's word, right? How is she able to do this? Because it's not against the rules to kill family members. Ah! So she kills Titus and then tosses his body down into the pit, like a literal hole in the middle of the ground, like in the middle of the room's floor, where we see a ton of bodies down there. And you have to keep in mind too, Titus, with this marriage, he has the top seat. He has the top position. He has the most power. But now that he's dead, the power would go to his spouse. So now Grace has all the power. She is literally top of the food chain. And supposedly, this organization controls a lot of the world. Not just the police, it could possibly control governments too. So Grace, for a moment, basking in the power. All the power. Because everyone's in shock of what just happened. Titus was just killed out of nowhere. And now Grace puts on the ring that holds ultimate power. Everyone's in shock, and she's just like, now get on your knees! It kind of just reminded me of that moment in the Lucifer TV show. Now bow down to your king. So everyone bows to her as she puts on the ring. And she just looks at the lawyer like, this means I have all the power, right? I can do whatever I want, right? Oh, also, remind me, you're saying that Mr. LaBelle will be angry if nobody wears this ring by the time of dawn? Yes, that is correct. When is dawn, by the way? Oh, in like, 3 minutes? Anyway, so as her first act, she will remove herself from the organization entirely. She will now have nothing to do with this satanic ritual cult thing. People are in shock, like, can she even do that? Well, yes, technically she can do whatever she wants. It's just nobody would ever give up all that power. So yeah, she technically could. And what does she do? She tosses the ring into the hole. Into the very deep pit where everyone... Also, the fact that now, anyone who wears the ring by dawn will have all the power. Literally anyone. Even people not in the family, people just standing there, anyone, like even the servants, the butlers, if they put on that ring before dawn, they get the power. So Grace throws the ring down the hole, and everyone jumps in. And what's funny is the way they jumped in. They jumped in like, you would expect them to dive in or them to jump so that they would land on their feet. No, they jumped in like they're jumping into a pool. Like they're about to land on their back. I don't know, it was pretty funny how they jumped in, because they would not land comfortably the way they jumped in. So we have this moment. It is a bloodbath down there. Every person jumps in. It is a slaughter down there. We get the slow-mo sequence of absolutely everyone tearing themselves apart to try to get that ring on someone's finger. But time's up. It's dawn. Nobody is wearing the ring. Mr. LaBelle is angry now. So one by one, every single person pops. Every single person blows up. So one by one they blow up until everyone blows up at the same time. So a giant geyser of blood sprays out of the hole. So they're in the clear. The sisters, they managed to beat the system and completely remove themselves too. Every member of the satanic cult is dead. Except, for some reason, the lawyer. He didn't blow up. Even the Indian dude's brother, who was hiding in the back like, Leo, I'm alive! I renounced all of this! I'm alive! Let's party! And then he blows up too. So, like, why didn't the lawyer blow up? Anyway, so they're free to go. They're free to go. The lawyer even looks at the sisters as they leave. He even has this look on his face like, yeah, good job, girls. You outsmarted us all, and you actually managed to win in the end. I may be even a little aroused by you two. Alright, so the girls leave. They also take the goat with them. The goat that was nanoseconds away from having its throat slit. So yeah, the two sisters, they leave. But once again, they're covered in blood. The two sisters, they leave with the goat. Like the literal goat. Grace, she picks up a cigarette before she leaves. And here's actually what I thought she was going to do. When she said, I have all the power, right? With this ring, I have all the power, you say? Then my first act is I want a cigarette. I really thought they were going to do that. Well, that's another shiny for tonight. Anyway, so the two sisters, they make up. They say they love each other. And now they walk off. Also, Faith, she... Did I just knock that out? Wait, no, I caught it. I did catch it, right? I thought I knocked it out. I kind of blacked out for a second there. I did catch it, right? Wait, why did I black out there? I caught it, right? Okay, yes, I did catch it. Phew! I blacked out for a second there. I thought I knocked it out. Okay, yeah, so our characters, they won. They walk off, covered in blood. Faith kept the Asian lady's sword, and now they have a pet goat. And now I'm kind of thinking, well, what are they going to do now? There's no plans for a third film. These two kind of have to disappear. Not only is Grace kind of suspected of murder and arson, well now, there's a second case of murder on a mass level. There was no arson this time, but still. And also, her sister would be an accomplice too, if not a partner in the crime. So they kind of have to disappear now. Both of them. Both of them kind of have to go on the run, move away, change their names. Like, they kind of have to now. Anyway, so there you have it. Ready or not, here I come. I like this film. I like this film. It was really good. Story was good. It was actually a competent film. No woke bullshit. No any sort of messaging. Nothing. Just straight up good storytelling. A film that nobody expected would get a sequel. But hey, we have one and it's actually a good sequel. It's not a case of a shitty movie sequel that ruins the first film. Like Joker 2 did. So yeah, good film. I applaud this film. But this is only the first of many films I have yet to go over, folks. Like I said, I still have movies like Project Hail Mary, Obsession, Exit 8, Supergirl, Scary Movie 6. Lots of movies I'm behind on. So we will get to them in due time. We will get to them when I have time to watch those movies. Because by the looks of it, I'm going to be working every day for like the next week. And so let's see how much time I have. If I'm working throughout the day, and if I'm doing this at night, well then what time do I have to watch movies? There's only so many hours in a day, right? You know, I technically could watch these movies at work, like the new job, because majority of the time I'm sitting there alone by myself, and there's not a whole lot to do. Like, every now and then someone will walk into the store, but that doesn't really happen that often, so I technically could. But if I were to do that, I would actually be watching the movies on my phone. Because I don't want to watch it on the computer at work. And I kind of don't have any sort of portable computer or laptop of my own that would survive the trip there. So if I were to actually watch it during the day at work, I would watch it on my phone. I don't want to watch movies like Obsession, Exit 8, Project Hail Mary on my phone. I technically did already watch Project Hail Mary, but it's been a couple months, so I want to rewatch it to refresh my memory. Also because when I was watching that, my friends were talking, so I couldn't pick up all the details of the movie. So yeah. Ready or Not 2, I like this film. This is one of those movies that did not need to exist, but I'm glad it does. If you remember a couple months ago, this was the movie that a friend of mine bailed on me to go watch instead with the girl he's interested in. There's actually no updates on that, by the way. Like, they're not together at all. Yet. At least, yet, I hope. Because it's like, damn, you ditched me to go watch this with her, and you don't even end up with her. You disappoint me, brother. So, let me know what you guys thought of the movie. I really liked it. I thought it was a great film, a great sequel. And it really did help that I rewatched the entire first film just moments before watching the second film. By the way, I also saw the video that No Shame in Feeding sent me last time about a second person game. Not a first person or a third person, a second person game. And well, it's kind of like you looking through the POV of another character, and you're controlling the character in front of the POV you're looking at. That's kind of crazy. And it's like, well, how would a Persona game work like that? I'm seeing through the perspective of the male protagonist and I'm controlling the female characters. Imagine the potential. Oh yeah, I'm also seeing a lot of memes regarding the Avengers Doomsday trailer. More specifically, like, Thor, uh, you know, Thor having Stormbreaker stopped with two fingers. And everyone's just saying, like, yo, call in the GOAT. Bring in Daredevil. Daredevil will be able to stop Doctor Doom, no problem. Well, that's all I have to go over. Couple more minutes and then I will call it for tonight. God damn it, you could have been shiny! Alpha punk ass. Couldn't have been shiny. What was that green one? Oh, Scyther. Corner of my eye, I saw a green outbreak. I'm just like, what is that? I thought it was Petalil, but then I remembered Petalil don't spawn here. Oh yeah, so at the beginning of this I mentioned that the starter Pokemon in Pokemon Go have backgrounds right now. And obviously, I want a Charmander with the background, and it almost seems like they knew Charmander would be high in demand because it barely spawns. It spawns the least! I would not be surprised if Froakie also will spawn the least. I'm going to try my best to hunt for as many background Charmanders as I can. Just as many backgrounds as I can. You know, it'd be great trade material for the other backgrounds. I need to crack my neck, hold on. Ooh, so much better. You know, this morning, maybe around like 6 a.m., there was yet another thunderstorm. I'm telling you, man, I don't know what's going on. So many thunderstorms lately. As I said before, I could have gone years without seeing a single thunderstorm, and yet lately, so many of them have been happening. You know, if I was, for some reason, going for a shiny alpha Staravia or Abra, we would have been done this hunt by now. But no, I gotta hunt for a shiny Abra Mime Jr. Of which it's barely showing up shiny, let alone shiny alpha. This is gonna be a long hunt, folks. I did warn you a long time ago that this will be a long hunt. Because it's not just shiny, it's shiny and alpha. I did warn you that this would be a long hunt. But yeah, I think I will hunt this somewhat on my own. But first, I finish my alpha decks. When I'm done this, I return to my potentially week-plus long hunt for my second and final Alpha Magnemite. As long as it's not an Alpha Magnezone. I need either Alpha Magnemite or Magneton. Just not Magnezone. Alpha Hunt 100 years! The next Pokemon Legends game, ooh, I'll do the same thing. I'll create an Alpha Living Dex in that game. I don't think I'll do a regular Living Dex plus an Alpha Living Dex, because when I did that in Legends ZA, it just took up all my box space. And thus I couldn't play the game for a couple months, because I ran out of box space. I had no room to catch shinies anymore. Anyway, so I'm gonna end this in a couple minutes. Doesn't it feel good to finally have something to talk about again? Finally! A movie to go over! And I have lots more coming down the line. Lots of movies, lots of excellent movies came out this year. Not you, Mario Galaxy movie. Lots of excellent content to talk about, assuming they are excellent. I know things like Project Hail Mary, Exit 8, Obsession, they were excellent, but I was hearing mixed reception for Scary Movie 6, which is a great shame, but I'll still watch it myself and make my own judgment. But yeah, it feels good to watch content and go over it again, even if nobody cares. And then we got movies later on this year coming out that should be fantastic. You know, we still got Godzilla Minus Zero and Avengers Doomsday late this year. Oh my god. Let there be a Mime Jr. outbreak somewhere, so that'll be the last thing I do for today. Of course there's not. Oh, by the way, today was my dad's birthday. Tomorrow is my brother-in-law's grandma's birthday. So tomorrow night, I'm also going out for dinner. So I'm working tomorrow to fill in for my sister, because she's going to the hospital to get like an ultrasound. And then I'm having dinner tomorrow night with the extended family. Well, sounds a lot like I have no movie watching time. Lovely. Okay, one last check, and then that'll be it for today. You're gonna go to bed? Alright. This will be the last check anyways. Alright, good night. Unless I scream a shiny alpha, and you'll have to come running back. Yeah, no, I didn't think so either. What about a Buizel? Is there by chance a shiny one in the initial? Let's take a quick look. My god, there actually is. It's a good thing I checked. Sweet, we actually walked away with 3 shinies today. My boxes are filling up too. Don't worry, I'll deposit all my alphas into Pokemon Home. Well, why do I have you? So we got a shiny Staravia, we got a shiny Luxray, and we got a shiny Buizel today. Nice! Notice how we're getting a lot of the same shinies, and not a lot are the ones we want, even if they're not alpha. Alright, this is where I'm going to call it for tonight. At least we ended off with a shiny. That's still a win. Okay, unless there's a Mime Jr. outbreak. No, there's a Cherubi outbreak. I'm still going to check that out, but on my own. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Goodbye.